Being authentic, working from a place of integrity, and showing people what's possible through owning their story is what Nikki is all about. Today's episode is the very first interview with guest Nikki Macmanard-Leake, who is a straight-talking coach and only works with people who she can relate to and be upfront with. Nikki has a challenge coming up in September, so head to the show notes after listening to this interview. I'm sure you're going to love her. Hello, you're listening to the Courageous Goals podcast. This podcast is for high-achieving, courageous women who want growth and the know-how to scale their business online. Running a business is a journey and a process. The more we learn in action, the more we succeed. If you're a woman in business, this is the podcast for you. Be in the 5% of businesses that make it. Let's get bold and create the life we desire. I'm bringing my passion to you through advice, coaching, inspiration, and support to help you create and design the life and business you want to live. I am a Dubsado expert, CPD certified in social media platforms, and a lover of admin systems and processes. I am an accredited ICF coach, specialising in trauma and narcissism. My own coaching journey has supported my growth immensely, and I want to share those highlights with you to inspire and give you courage. Let's get intentional with our goals and make them happen. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to the Courageous Goals podcast. Today I have a guest on the show for you, Nikki Macmanard-Leake. Nikki is what are you, Nikki? You are a straight talking coach.
Oh, definitely am that. Yes, that's a good description.
That's what I've observed, which I absolutely love. Okay, so we're going to talk a little about Nikki's story and her successes and what her top tips might be in business to share with you all. So, Nikki, please feel free to introduce yourself and then you can tell us a little bit about your business story.
Okay, perfect. So as Leanne said, I am a straight talking business coach. I am definitely not tea and sympathy. I don't believe that gets us very far in life. We need reality and truth. And I'm a big advocate of getting reality out there, because I think so many of us live behind this false reality, particularly with social media and things like that. We live behind this false reality of what life should be like and what we should be doing and how we should be feeling. And I like to show the truth behind that, and that actually life and business can be very messy and it can have lots of ups and downs and lots of challenges. It's a real roller coaster, and that actually that's okay, that's completely normal. So my coaching work is aimed primarily at women who I would say are me 5 years ago. So people who feel stuck, they feel lost, they're not valuing themselves, they're last on every priority list. They have probably been through a whole lifetime of kind of shitstorms, and all sorts of things have happened, and they've just got to that place where they know that there is more and that there should be more, but they just don't really know what more is or how to get there or what to do. So that's where somebody like me comes in, to be able to give them the tools and show them the way and lead by example, to say, do you know what, I get it because I've been where you are. And that's really important to me, I think, is that level of integrity, to know that my clients understand I've been on the journey they've been on, so that I do actually truly get it.
And that's so important, right? That you can relate to them in that way.
Completely, yeah. And I think when I've worked with coaches, and every coach should have at least one coach, most good coaches should have several coaches, I work with people that I can see myself in, people that I can relate to, so that when I do share something with a coach I'm working with, I know that they're going to understand where I'm coming from. There's nothing worse than explaining something to somebody and them looking at you like, what? I don't know what you mean. I don't. You want somebody who really gets it. So somebody who feels like they're a bit like you. And I always say to people, you know, I'm no different to anybody else. I'm not special in any way. I'm just in a different place and further along my journey than the people I work with. And that's huge for me.
Yeah, definitely. And you actually have a group, don't you? The Perfect Mess.
I do, the Perfect Mess Club. And I think, the name really just says it all. It's that acceptance that life is a perfect mess, and whether it feels like it or not, we're actually exactly where we're meant to be, and we're going exactly where we're meant to go. And we can own the fact that things aren't perfect, and that is actually okay, that we can't all be unicorns, shit and glitter all day, every day, despite what social media might have you believe that's what you should be doing and thinking and feeling. So my community is about bringing women together to own what's going on in their lives, and also to share then powerful tools and guidance as to, okay, if you want to change stuff, how do you do that? Let me give you some simple tools. And all of the work I do with my coaching is actually pretty simplistic, because I think we overcomplicate things where we really don't need to. Most things just need a simple tweak, a simple change, and we can create massive impact with that.
I can definitely relate to that. And we do definitely overcomplicate things like all the time. I have a lot of limiting beliefs that kind of get in the way a lot. And if sometimes we just let go and stop worrying about other people, what you've been told and what you've heard and what goes on day to day, and stop comparing yourself as well, we can really reach new potentials. It's just
absolutely, yeah. And that comparison, like I say, it kills everything. And for me, it's about stepping into the truth of who you are and owning who you are as a person, and going, do you know what, I'm a decent human being, and that makes me feel good, so I can show up in the world as the authentic me. And I will always say to people, I am unapologetically myself, and I'm okay with that. And I know some people won't like that, and that's fine, as long as I know that I'm doing the best I can with the knowledge and resources I've got at any given time. That's all that matters. And it's funny, actually, the name for my group, it came up when I've been recording some video content for one of my courses. And as I walked out of my office, I glanced back in my office and I just laughed to myself, because I've got a spin bike in my office, which I have to move out of the way so it's not in the background of the shot. My desk was like a bomb site. At the window, to help with the lighting, I've got one of my son's old duvet covers, which is a Muppets duvet cover that I've used as a painting sheet. So this it was just, and I just looked back and I went, God, that's just a perfect mess. Because on the screen, what people see when they are on my course is this beautiful branded background. I've got my sunflower things on the background on the wall. Everything looks perfect. Yeah. And it really kind of hit home to me that actually I needed to turn my camera around and go, do you know what? I know what you see, and I know you see me as, this person that you want to learn from, and that everything's perfect, but actually it's not. That's not real life. Here's real life. I'll spin my camera around and now you can see what I'm dealing with. And that's where the name of the group actually came from.
That is brilliant. Absolutely love that. And as you were saying that, I was thinking, do you remember a couple of weeks ago when I sent that email out and I completely deleted an episode that I'd recorded?
Yeah.
I wanted to cry. But I thought it might, make someone's day. It might make them laugh if I actually tell them I recorded and deleted a whole episode.
Yeah, because it makes you real. And I think that's so important, because there is just so much false reality out there, and people are aspiring to feel like they should be people and live lives that actually aren't real. And I see it, one of my biggest bugbears in the coaching world is I see coaches out there portraying this amazing perfect life, and I know personally what's going on behind the scenes for them, and I'm like, that's not honest, that's not integral. You're making people feel like they should reach for these goals that actually you're not even living. And they would relate to you so much more if you went, do you know what? I know quite a bit more than you, but I'm still learning. Actually, I still get it wrong. Like you say, I still delete podcasts. I still delete, I still mess up. And that acceptance that's actually more than okay. That's normal.
Yeah. It's I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's more showing people like who you are and how you show up. Like in your truest way, makes them relate to you, and that they're okay where they're at, that they don't have to be perfect, they don't have to have all the skills to run a business. You're a coach, I'm now a coach, and we love doing that, But we have to do all these other things to run our business, like the tech stuff. So many people get overwhelmed with tech.
Don't even mention the word tech to me. You know, that's one of my biggest nemesis. That's not even a word, is it? But that for me has always been a big limiting belief and a big kind of challenge and obstacle. But like you say, I think people perceive that you're like, oh, you know, you've got it all going on and you're perfect, and it's like, no, that's not true. We mess up, and I think, you know, we're all. The thing I always say to my clients, and it's really important for them to understand, is this is a journey, and this journey never ends. So I've been in business now for 25 years. I'm still learning. I'm still making mistakes. I'm still doing things and going, probably should have known better about that. But again, it's getting the message out there that's how things work. That's normal and that's perfectly okay. And that's where we grow, when we can show up as our authentic selves and say, this is who I am. And tomorrow I'm going to be a better version of myself, because I'm going to keep growing and I'm going to keep evolving, because I'm going to own the things that didn't go well, and I'm not going to blame other people, and I'm not going to go, well, if that hadn't happened, if this hadn't happened. I'm going to own that, and I'm going to make changes.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And life is really a long learning journey, isn't it? You learn something new every day. And
yeah,
you know, over 25 years, you must have learned so much about being in business. You know, what do you think your biggest thing is in your learning journey in those 25 years?
So sometimes I think my biggest learning is that I should have just got a job on a checkout in Tesco. And I should have just made life easier for myself.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not very inspiring for the people that listen to this. I think my biggest learning is that actually we're all capable of far more than we give ourselves credit for. And that if you really want something, there are no limits to what you can achieve, but you've got to put yourself out there. You've got to put yourself into that arena that other people aren't stepping into. And I know, so my original background, I'm a sports medicine physio, and over the years, I've had 3 big multidisciplinary sports medicine clinics in Leicestershire. And quite often physio friends of mine that I work with in the NHS would say, I don't know how you do it, you know, how are you brave enough to do that? And the saying that I use, and I use it with my coaching clients, I use it all the time, is the way I look at it is I say, is anybody going to die if I do this, or if I don't do this thing? And thankfully the answer's always been no. But I that's the way I look at it, is what's the worst thing that can happen? So if I decided to set up a completely new business tomorrow that I'd know nothing about, and I'm going to have to learn and grow, what's the worst case scenario? Is that it doesn't work out and I've learned a whole load of stuff. And I just think, as long as nobody's going to die in the process, then it's okay, just do it. What is the worst that can happen?
Okay, yeah, I totally agree with that. So what motivates you the most in your business?
Seeing change in other people, having an impact on people. I'm a real people person, and I love seeing people living better versions of themselves, and knowing that I can have played a part in that, whether that's directly with my coaching work, or whether it's something I've shared on social media, or something I've said in passing to somebody. And when people say to me, well, you know, when you said that day, that really changed everything for me, that drives me more than anything else, because being able to have an impact in the world and being able to use my story, and I've been, you know, on one hell of a journey. There's a lot of traumas, there's a lot of stuff. Knowing I can use that to inspire other people is everything.
Yeah, it's seeing that big change, that transformation, and knowing how you've supported those people, isn't it? It's
whether directly or indirectly. And I think, you know, I always say to people in business is that actually your focus needs to be on the impact you're creating and the change. The money comes secondary. So when I first started my coaching business, I was chasing the money, and I was wondering why I wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't getting any clients. When I stopped chasing the money and started chasing creating an impact, the money comes. It comes and it doesn't become an important, yes, it's important, obviously we've got to pay bills, but it doesn't become the focus. And I think when the focus of your business shifts from I need to earn money to how can I make a difference, How can I create an impact in just one person's life? That, for me, is what drives me all day, every day. That's what gets me up in the morning and lights me up to do what I do.
I think mindset plays a big part as well, doesn't it?
Mindset. I mean, mindset is everything. You know, our mindset is going to control every aspect of our life, our business, our relationships, our health, everything.
Yeah.
You know, everything in our life is a reflection of our thought processes. So if your business isn't where you would like it to be, or, you know, your relationship isn't where you'd like it to be, you have to look within and you have to look at your thought processes, because the answer is there. Because your business, particularly in business is a reflection of your unconscious mind.
Yeah, definitely. So who or what has supported you the most?
Oh, well, my children are amazing. I've got a grown-up child. She's an adult. She's 24. I just called her a child. My children have always supported everything I do. My two younger children, they come to my. In fact, all my kids have been to my events. Actually, they've all been to my live events. My younger children have listened to all my audiobooks that are on my Audible library. They call me out when I say something and they go, "Oh, that's not what you teach somebody, is it?" So that, for me, that's always been one of my biggest driving forces. The other big driving force for me, and there's no coincidence in the fact that we're doing this today, because actually today's the anniversary of the death of my mum, who died 12 years ago, and she has been kind of in life, and since she's passed, the hugest inspiration to me in everything I do, because she was always proud of who I was. She was always proud of who I was, and I know she still is now. And for me, kind of showing up over and over again and time again and creating an impact for other people just feels even more special, because she made a big impact on people. She was that energy as well in people's lives. So that's been huge. And the communities and people that I've met, mainly people that I have never met in real life, actually, or people like yourself, Leanne, that I met virtually first before I met in real life. The support from people that you can meet, whether it's through networking, whether it's through groups in Facebook, it doesn't matter. That support is everything. And I think that's why you've got the group you've got on Facebook. That's why I've got the group I've got on Facebook, because people will make connections in there, not just with us, but with other people that will actually change the trajectory of their lives. And that's huge.
It's really inspiring to hear you talk about your children and your mum in that way. I absolutely love that. So it's beautiful that you can still hold on to your mum as well in that way.
Yeah, well, she's the inspiration behind the name of my business. So, she was always had to be, for me, an integral part of what this business was about, and that's why I chose the name I did. Not the perfect mess, by the way.
No,
just to clarify that, she wasn't a perfect mess. It's the sunflower element of my business is all down to her.
Okay, so what's unique about you in your business?
Me, I am unique because I'm unapologetically me. I think my approach is my approach isn't unique, because lots of people do show up as themselves, but there is only one me, the same as there's only one you. And I bring with me all of my life experiences and all of my growth and learning, and that makes the way I teach things unique, because my journey's been unique to me, and no two people obviously can have the same journey.
And that's so important, isn't it, to show up as yourself? Like we talked about this briefly, but not being afraid to be yourself and stop trying to be someone else or please other people or whatever.
Yeah.
And actually owning who you are is just so important.
Yeah, exactly. And I think so many people worry about, well, what if people don't like me? And I will always say to people, the only thing that matters is, do you like you? And if you like you, That's the important thing. And the right people will like you also. And I, in terms of my business, I attract clients to me. I'm very into the kind of woo-woo, the spiritual stuff, quantum field, very geeky about the quantum field. But I attract people who are like me. And there's no coincidence in that. So if I show up as my true authentic self and I'm real about who I am on my journey, I will attract people who are similar to me, and therefore they're going to get much better results working with me because we have got so many synchronicities in our journeys.
And I like what you just said, like, do you like you?
Yeah, that's the biggest. And I say to people, I ask myself, am I a decent human being? Yes, absolutely. And do I come from a place of integrity, honesty, truth, and love? 100%. And that's all that matters to me. And for me, there's no ego about it. I know there are some people that won't like me. There are some people that won't like the way I do things. Some people won't like the fact that I swear. That's okay. Not everybody has to like you, but you have to like you. Because if you don't truly like you, and if you don't know deep within that you're enough and that you're perfectly enough just as you are, then no one else is ever going to truly feel that about you.
Yeah, I agree. So, what are the secrets to your success?
Secrets? I don't know that there are any secrets. I don't like I don't know. Is there a secret? I think the thing for me is that I just have never stopped. I've never settled and never stopped. And I've always just said, there has to be more. And I'm going to keep searching and striving for more and be consistent about that. I think the secret to success, I suppose in many ways, is to not stop, to never give up, and to never think that a failure is a failure. It's just a feedback, it's a learning. So the secret to being successful is just not stopping.
And a lot of people do give up, don't they? I don't know what the statistics are, but in the first couple of years, that's the real testing time, isn't it?
Yeah, and business, it can be hard. Say I'm 25 years down the line, I still have really testing times, and I do think, do I just go to Tesco and get that job on the checkout? But people, I think people give up too quickly because of fear mainly. People are fearful, and when we get put into fear, we go back into feeling safe, or the brain wants us to feel safe, but safe is known. And it's when we step out of the known, our unconscious mind gets a little bit unsettled and a bit like, whoa, what are we doing here? This isn't where we belong. Let's stay back here in our little box where we're used to being. And it's pushing outside that unknown that will create that success for us. And know that the brain, the unconscious mind, it's always going to try and pull you back, test you, put fear in the way. And I'll always say, that when we have those fears and when we have those things come up, for me, I say, well, that's the universe testing how much I really want this. Because if I want it enough, I will level up. I will rise through this. I will find a way, round it, through it, over it, under it, whatever. If I don't want it enough, I will go back into safe mode. I'll go back into the known and say, actually, that was too hard. I couldn't do that. And what people then do when they are in that stage of going, this is too hard, I'm giving up, is they will blame people, things, and circumstances around them. And we have to take responsibility, and we have to say, okay, if this didn't work, and not all businesses do work, some don't work, but when a business doesn't work, or when we decide to stop, we have to own why we've done that from a place of responsibility. Not it's because the dog ate my homework, or it's because of this, or we have to step into that responsibility of, okay, well, why didn't this work, and what can I learn from that? What could I change? What could I do differently next time?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of learnings there.
Yeah, life's full of all day, every day. Every time you think, I've got it, the universe goes, no, you haven't. Here's a new challenge. Here's a new learning. Here's a new obstacle. There's another level, always.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you want to achieve next? What might be coming up that you'd like to share with people?
Well, I've got a free challenge that I am doing in September, 11th, 12th, 13th of September, called From a Stressed Life to a Blessed Life, where I will go into much more detail of some of the things that I've touched on today, particularly around taking responsibility for our lives and creating changes in our lives. So that's a huge thing for me, to get out and share things like that. I love doing things. Like, anyone who's seen any lives I do will know the energy that I bring, and I'm sure you will get a taste of that from listening to this podcast. But being able to share my message and impact more people is everything for me. And prior to COVID, I was touring the country doing an in-person event, a one-day mindset masterclass. So that's one of the next things on my agenda, is actually to get back out there and get back in the room in front of people, doing that in person, because I love, as much as I love online coaching and group coaching, and I do absolutely love it, for me nothing beats being in the room with people, and being in the room with the energy of a large group of people is just everything. It's really amazing.
That sounds so brave, Nikki. How do you do that?
Which bit? The getting out in front of people?
Yeah, like being out there as like a speaker. And because I remember you saying you did travel around a little bit, didn't you, to do these speaking events?
I toured around the UK doing my mindset masterclass. The funny thing is, I mean, it kind of ties back into what I said earlier, of the question I asked myself is anybody going to die if I step out and do this? My biggest fear for most of my life was public speaking. And I decided that the best way to get over the fear of public speaking was to advertise a one-day event, sell places, and give myself no choice but to get out there and get in front of people.
So you threw yourself in?
Oh, I threw myself well and truly under the bus. I went, hey, what's my biggest fear? Right, let's put myself into a situation where I have no choice, because I put it out there and people are paying to come. So I've got to turn up, and I've got to stand up in the front of the room, and I've got to deliver what I can deliver. And I think the biggest learning in that, and the biggest message I can give people in that, is that how you feel you come across and how other people receive you is completely different, because we are criticizing ourselves all of the time. So if I stood up in front of somebody and spoke, inside I'd be shaking. I'd think, oh, this sounds awful. Other people would come up to me afterwards, go, how are you so confident? And I'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, you should have been inside my head and my body then. That wasn't, and I think when you've got a message to share, it becomes that not about you. So it would have been selfish of me to not do it, because I have something valuable to share. I have a passion, I have the energy, I have the motivation to do it. If I allowed my fear to stop me, that's selfish, because all those people that have been to my events wouldn't have got to hear and experience what they've got to hear and experience. I think sometimes you have to realize it's not about you. Move the ego out of it and realize, why am I doing this? I'm doing this for other people. I'm doing this to impact other people and to change people's lives and show people what's possible for them. So I need to get up and just do that, because I've got the tools and I've got the knowledge and I've got the experience to share it. And actually, if people judge me and how I present, then that's okay. That's about them, not me. Again, it comes back to, I know what I'm doing is from integrity and truth and love. And I mean, I've had loads of times where I've even struggled to pronounce the name of my own business. And then I just laugh at myself and just go, well, that's ridiculous. Can't even say the name of my own business. I just, I think you've just got to remember, it's not about you. Take the ego away from it and remind yourself, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I want to create change and impact other people. I want to affect the collective consciousness, all of those kind of things. And ego doesn't come into that.
And that comes back to the perfect mess, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Even you can't pronounce your business name, but yet it's it's a reality. Everybody is the same. You'll get a little bit of nerves or jitters or something
Of
like
course.
that. And yeah,
Yeah.
we can't even speak.
Yeah, and it's normal. And I think if I can go out there and present events and make mistakes and own them in front of people in the room, I'm practicing what I preach.
Yeah.
And that's, I have to show up and do what I'm asking other people to do. And if I'm asking other people to go outside of their fears and face these things, then I've got to be doing the same. And if I can do that, and I mean, I've had every technological issue going under the sun at my live events, and some you would never imagine are even possible have happened to me, but they've all grown and shaped me, and they've all allowed me in a weird way to relax more into things, because I'm like, okay, well, that's just gone, I can't do anything about it, that's just gone horribly wrong. I'll just talk to people, I'll just share what I know and just do it as me.
That's so brave. You really are inspiring me right now.
Ooh, does that mean there's a little task coming up that I tell you what, when I do my next masterclass event, maybe you should come and do a guest spot, do a little business.
Oh gosh, Nikki, you are throwing me in at the deep end.
Oh well, yeah, I mean, sorry, not sorry, but it's the only way to do it. But maybe if you wanted to do that, if you're open to doing that, then I would be more than happy for you to come along and come and do a bit business definitely. Stuff at an event. So definitely. You've got a lot of knowledge to share.
Yes, yeah, I'd love to do that. I think it'd be really good, actually.
Yeah, good, okay, excellent. So, well, that's been witnessed by every single person that's listened to this.
Oh, so
wow. you've just made that a bit of a I can't get out of this situation, a bit like I did with selling an event that didn't exist yet.
Yeah, I've just committed to that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of realizing on me right now.
Yeah, well, you just go and sit with that for a bit and see how that feels, and know that I will be in touch, and it will happen.
I'm sure you will. Right,
in the nicest possible way.
What for other courageous women, what would you like to share a top tip for them to take away from today?
Just be yourself and know that that is enough, and that you are perfectly good just as you are. Yes, we can all grow and evolve, but actually, as you listen to this right in this moment, you are enough. And if only you could see yourselves like everyone else around you sees you, then you would see everything very differently.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Okay, so for those who would like to find you, follow you, where can they do that?
Well, you can find me hanging out in the Perfect Mess Club on Facebook. I've also got a group on Facebook called The Sunflower Effect. And on Instagram, I am Sunflower Ventures Coaching. And if anybody is interested in my emails, you probably gather the kind of style that maybe my emails are in. If you want to hear about some of my weekly mess, then I have an email list that you can find access to in any of my groups.
Fabulous. Are you happy for me to drop those links in the show notes?
Yeah, absolutely. And if the free challenge is 11th, 12th, 13th of September. So depending on when this goes out, if people want to come and join that free challenge, then I'd love to have you there. If not, I will be doing one probably in another 6 months or so.
Okay, that's absolutely brilliant. Well, Nikki, thank you so much for joining me today on the Courageous Goals podcast. If anyone would like to be on an episode 1 month, please do reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to the Courageous Goals podcast. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode and taken something of value for you. If you'd love more advice, coaching, inspiration and support, head on over to join many other courageous women in business in our free community group over on Facebook. We'd love to welcome you. You can also find free useful resources over on the website at leannebrown.com/resources. Right, that's all for this week. I look forward to sharing another episode with you next week.